The movie opens with the view of a train track and immediately shows us the time, 1968. Paul had built a Skyview restaurant as a surprise for Iris. Iris gets very excited, and for the restaurant's commercial, a picture is also taken of Iris and Paul with the tower view. Eventually, they enter the restaurant. The restaurant had a glass floor, everything below was clearly visible, and a live kitchen was located at the very center of the floor. People were partying here when Iris places a rose in Paul's pocket. Her finger begins to bleed from the thorn's prick, which causes her to vomit. Seeing this, the restaurant singer understands that Iris is pregnant. When she asks Iris about it, Iris herself learns it from her. Yet, Iris becomes very happy. She then notices the singer's son and feels drawn to him for no apparent reason. Anyway, she returns to Paul, and he takes her to the terrace with the top view, where he proposes marriage to Iris. Iris gets excited, accepts his proposal, and gives him the good news that she is pregnant. This makes Paul very happy as well. Here, Iris also sees the singer's son again, and that mischievous boy throws his coin down from the top. The coin, instead of hitting the ground, gets sucked into the AC outdoor unit due to vacuum pressure. As everyone attends the party and dances, the restaurant's floor is shown to begin shaking. Meanwhile, the coin spins inside the AC duct, driven by the fan's airflow, and suddenly the restaurant's floor collapses. All the people fall down. Paul had grabbed a piece of glass to save himself, but it wounded his hand. Still, he couldn't hold on and eventually fell, leading to his death. At the same time, Iris was standing in a stable area, so she managed to survive. The coin spinning inside the duct came out and struck another location, hitting a gas pipe and causing a leak, which led to a fire in the live kitchen restaurant above. As a result, the singer also died, while Iris hid under a piano to stay safe. To escape, Iris went toward the lift, which was already crowded with. Just before the lift could descend, a man fell beneath it and was crushed. The lift was damaged badly, and everyone inside it died. When Iris returned upstairs, half of the restaurant was tilted dangerously. Inside, people tried desperately to save themselves. The piano alone was keeping this entire section balanced. That same coin from the duct fell and landed on the piano. This disrupted the balance, and that section of the restaurant collapsed, killing all inside. Iris then saw the singer's son and managed to catch him. She tried to save the child, but the ground beneath him also began to crack. To protect herself, she wedged her ring between two iron rods, but her hand got injured and the ring came off. Both Iris and the boy fell, and they died. Suddenly, a girl screamed, and it was revealed that everything was a hallucination experienced by Stefani. She was sitting in her classroom, and her scream disturbed the entire class. When her professor questioned her, Stefani explained that she often had terrifying visions. Even at night, she woke up screaming after seeing such disturbing dreams. Her roommate then advised her to talk to her family about what she was experiencing. So she went home, met her father and her beloved brother, with whom she shared a deep bond. Together, they visited their maternal uncle's home. Her cousins were there, and they all were very close. While spending time there, Stefani asked her uncle about her grandmother Iris. Yes, Iris, the same one from Stefani's vision, was her grandmother. Her uncle, upon hearing her mother's name, got angry and said Iris was dead to them. He explained that she lost her mind, moved to an island, and never returned. This, he said, caused her mother's mental health to deteriorate, and she too left the family. Saying this, her uncle walked away, but her aunt secretly helped. She gave Stefani the letters Iris had sent, along with her address and some of her belongings. Among those items was the photo that Paul and Iris had taken in front of the Skyview restaurant. Upon seeing this picture, Stefani was shocked. This picture, this restaurant, all of it had her vision. Stefani then traveled to the deserted island to meet Iris. There stood a house, but its condition quite. Stefani introduced herself to security, so Iris invited her inside. Iris was filled with excitement upon Stefani. She asked Stefani about her mother, and Stefani replied that their mother had left them in childhood. Here, Stefani revealed the most important thing to Iris. She had visualized Iris and Grandpa in front of the Skyview restaurant. That restaurant was collapsing, people were dying. She had this nightmare over and over every day and night. Iris then told her that she had visions, and because of those visions, she had saved everyone during the big acts that took place that day. Iris said she had taken the coin from that child's hand, which had originally caused the whole. She already knew the floor of the restaurant was going to collapse, so she went to the microphone and warned everyone about the impending collapse. Due to her announcement, many people evacuated early, and thus were saved. Stephanie asked in shock, "Did you really save everyone's life that day?" Iris replied, "Yes, that day I deceived death and saved everyone." But death wasn't done. It kept chasing the people who had survived. Death began to hunt down every survivor from that incident. Not only them, but their children too. And if there were people who escaped and had children afterward, death came for those children as well. Because if the original victims had died in the accident, those children wouldn't have been born. Death was claiming lives one by one, and when I realized this, I understood the truth. It even took Paul. killing him with cancer. And that's when I realized I was next. To escape death, I hid myself away on this island. If I die, then death will come for your mother, her brother, their children, and eventually you and your brother. But while I'm alive, you all are safe. Stephanie then asked, why am I seeing these visions? Iris answered, because now death is behind us. Hearing this, Stephanie became frightened. Iris then gave her a book containing the names and stories of survivors from that day, and how they later died. It also described the ways one could deceive death. Stephanie thought it was nonsense. She didn't accept the book and told Iris she would visit again. Saying this, she went outside. Iris, who hadn't stepped out of her cabin in years, chose to face death to protect her family. She followed Stephanie and gave her the book. She said, death is coming for you now, and you'll need this book to survive. Stephanie didn't believe her, so Iris said, then witness my death now. Gas began leaking from one side. One system failed, then another. As a chain reaction unfolded, something flew straight into Iris's face, stabbing her from behind. She died there. Now Stephanie began to believe everything Iris had said. 2 days later, Iris's funeral was held, and Stephanie's mother came to attend it. Stephanie realized that the next death would be her mother's. To protect her, she began reading the book Iris had given her. Inside it, Iris had hidden the same coin that had helped her prevent the accident years ago. Now, understanding everything, Stephanie tried to call her family to warn them, but none of them were picking up her call. Here, it is shown that Stephanie's entire family was enjoying a party, but during the celebration, the game of death had already begun. A glass shattered, and one sharp shard slipped into a pile of ice. Everyone was taking ice from there, unaware. That shard ended up in Stephanie's uncle's glass, though he set the drink aside without drinking it. Gradually, all the objects around subtly shifted position, as if everything was unfolding according to some invisible plan. The glass suddenly slipped from Stephanie's uncle's hand, and the piece of glass pierced his foot. In pain, he collapsed on the ground. His fall caused a vibration in the floor, which led a tool to drop onto a lawn-cutting machine. The machine activated and surged forward, straight onto Stephanie's uncle's face, crushing his skull and killing him instantly. This gruesome scene horrified everyone present. Stephanie, now terrified, began explaining to her family how death was hunting. She said that after Iris prevented the tower's collapse that day, death had started targeting all the survivors from that incident. One by one, it took their lives, and now it was coming for their family. She told them that only their family and another boy's family. Stephanie explained, Iris died first, then her eldest son. Now, after her uncle's death, it would be his daughter's, and once her mother died, Stephanie would be next. Despite hearing all this, no one took her serious. Even her cousin, the uncle's children, got angry, thinking Stephanie was making a mockery of their father's death. The only one who believed her was her mother. But Stephanie wasn't speaking kindly with her mother. Next, we are shown the eldest son of the uncle at his piercing shop. He finished his work and locked up the store. As a tribute to his father, he got a portrait tattoo inked on his arm. He was wearing a nosepin at that moment. Suddenly, a ceiling fan switched on above him. It had a magnetic chain attached, which latched onto his nose. As the fan spun, so did the chain, and it twisted him along with it. There was kerosene on the floor, and a spark from his lighter ignited. He freed himself from the spinning chain, only to fall into the flame. The entire shop caught fire. As soon as Stephanie learned about the fire, she rushed to the shop at sunrise. But surprisingly, he appeared in front of her car, injured only on his arm. They started chatting casually when suddenly a speeding truck slammed in. Yet, incredibly, he remained unharmed. He told Stephanie, "See, I told you nothing would happen." Stephanie, however, wasn't convinced by his words. Instead of focusing on what he was saying, she kept her attention on nearby objects that could be dangerous. When a garbage truck passed by, she warned him to stay away. But he went ahead and hugged it. And again, nothing happened to him. Now the boy laughed and told her, "See, you're overthinking everything." Meanwhile, the boy's sister also went out for a stroll. Suddenly, her foot hit a ball, causing her to stumble into a trash. Before she could react, the truck workers tossed the entire bin into the garbage truck. All three of them witnessed this unfold. They ran toward the truck in a panic, trying to stop it. Without concern for her own safety, Stephanie climbed onto the top of the truck to rescue her. But inside, the garbage was already being compacted. The machine crushed the girl's body. Only her hand remained in Stephanie's grasp. She had died. Everyone was devastated by her tragic death. Stephanie's brother looked at her and said, "You were right!" But even then, Stephanie couldn't fully believe her own theory, because in her vision, the brother was supposed to die, not the sister. Then their aunt revealed a shocking truth. The boy wasn't actually Stephanie's uncle's biological son. That's why he survived. But his sister, the true daughter of the uncle, died instead. And listening to this, Stephanie was stunned. Everyone now stood by Stephanie, as they had all started believing her. The girl who had died, her younger brother, turned to Stefani and said, "It means it's my turn now. Stefani, I don't want to die. Will you help me?" Stefani replied, "I want to save you, but I don't know what's going to happen next." Then her brother said to her, "Look, you already figured out what was going to happen before. You'll understand again. Just pay attention to your surroundings." Stefani suddenly remembered that Iris had told her about a boy who had survived the tower incident. He was now working in a hospital. He was still alive. He had also escaped death once. He knew how to deceive death. So the group decided to go meet him. When they arrived and called his name, JD, he was surprised. Only Iris had ever called him that name. They asked him, "How do you know Iris?" But when he approached the vending machine, it didn't work. In his hurry, he tried retrieving the peanuts manually, but one of the machine's screws came loose. Then, they all went into a room to hide. He told his brother, "Wait here, I'll bring the anti-allergic for you." Saying this, he shut the door. When it slammed shut, some buttons were pressed, including the ones for the MRI machine. After some time, the boy returned with a wheelchair and an injector. He asked his brother to eat the chocolate peanut, but before they could complete their plan, the MRI machine activated. Due to its powerful magnetic field, it started pulling every metallic object toward it. Stefani's elder cousin, who had multiple piercings on his body, was also pulled by the machine along with the wheelchair. He was dragged inside uncontrollably. He couldn't save himself. The wheelchair, torn apart by magnetic force, was also sucked in, and he died instantly. His younger brother, who had consumed the chocolate peanut, began suffering terribly. To survive, he injected the medicine that he had kept nearby. It healed him. But just then, the vending machine, which they had previously opened manually, shot out a spring. Bouncing off the walls, the spring eventually struck the same boy who had eaten the peanut to fool death and used anti-allergy medicine to survive. He died anyway. It meant death had claimed him too. Everyone was grieving over their loss. Stefani told her mother, "It's your turn now. I think you should stay in the house where your mother, Iris, once lived. She had survived by living there for years." Stefani's mom agreed, and then we saw that the coin slipped out of the book Stefani was holding. An old lady picked it up and placed it into her purse. Stefani rushed to her grandmother's house, and she asked her mom to go inside. Her mother was worried for her two children. Stefani assured her, "Mom, as long as you're alive, nothing will happen to us." Saying this, she and her brother sent their mom into the house. But it was already shown to us that there had been a gas leak and electric sparks were present. Although Stefani's mom sensed it, she ignored the smell and walked inside. A big explosion followed due to the gas and spark. The blast also caused Stefani's car to fall into water and she started drowning. Inside the house, Stefani's mom was consumed by the flames. Stefani's brother, who was outside, fell down and saw that a collapsing tower was heading toward him. But his mom rushed over and saved him. The tower collapsed onto her, killing her. Now the boy realized that it was Stefani's turn to die. To save her, he quickly jumped into the water. He rescued her and brought her out, only to see that Stefani had already died. He performed CPR and brought her back to life. She revived, and they were relieved because Stefani had returned from death. She had accepted death, and now they believed they could cheat it. Both were happy to survive, yet deeply saddened by their mother's death and the other. Sometime later, we saw that life had returned to normal. It was Charlie's graduation ceremony, Stefani's younger brother. Everyone was getting ready to attend. Excitedly, Stefani placed a rose in his pocket. A thorn pricked her finger, and it began to bleed, just like Iris's hand had bled at the start of the movie. This made Stefani realize that the game of death was beginning again. The scene shifted. Meanwhile, the coin that Iris had once saved, and the old lady who had it now, as she opened her wallet, the coin slipped out. It spun and landed on the railway track that we saw at the beginning of the film. The coin came to a stop in the middle of the railway junction, posing a risk of damage to the track. Then we returned to Stefani and her brother, where their neighbor, a doctor, visited them. He was a friend of Stefani's brother. He told Stefani, "Your brother told me about you. I'm very impressed. You are very lucky to be alive today." Stefani replied, "Yes, I'm so lucky I came back after death." But the doctor said, "No, you didn't die and return. If someone doesn't breathe for 5 minutes, then he is considered dead. You started breathing again after just 2 minutes. That's called unconsciousness, not death." Hearing this, Stefani and her brother were stunned. Stefani began observing everything around her. She started seeing signs of death in every detail, but their deaths didn't happen right away. The train that derailed started moving toward their neighborhood. It couldn't slow down in time. To save themselves, Stefani and her brother ran as fast as they could. Eventually, the train stopped, but they couldn't escape. Pieces of wood flew from the back of the train and pierced their body. In the end, both of them died. And thus, this Final Destination movie ended with one message. We can't escape death. Everyone has to face it one day. Thanks for watching.